All right, hello everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast where we sit down with some of the sharpest minds in the management consulting industry. This episode is powered by Clubhouse AI. At Clubhouse AI, we help management consulting firms break free from outdated lead gen methods like networking events and referrals, which often feel more like wishful thinking than a real strategy. Our battle-tested, data-driven client acquisition system brings in your ideal clients with no chasing, no guesswork, just predictable compounding growth. If you're in the management consulting industry and you're looking to scale your business and see results within the first week, DM us the word growth for a free consultation. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Today, we have a very special guest. It was Eric Lopkin, president and founder of the Modern Observer Group. Thank you so much for being with us today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little about your story and what you do?
Thanks for having me here today. Uh, as you said, I'm Eric Lopkin. I founded the Modern Observer Group back in 2009. We started as an operations and communications consulting firm back then. We have evolved over the past 16 years to coaching, leadership training, management consulting, a much wider range of services, but all based on putting people in an organization first and making sure that the processes of the organization are aligned with the people and the purpose. So that's really our focus.
Awesome. I love it. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your typical day and your role in the company, what that looks like?
Well, as CEO, we're a small company, so I am chief cook and bottle washer. I have a couple of other consultants that work with me. But other than client engagements, I run the entire operation. So everything from lead gen sales and marketing to creating our coaching and consulting programs, organizing schedules, all of that falls on me. So day to day, and also aside from the coaching and consulting, we also have a media division that I oversee. So we have right now 8 podcasts that we do on various schedules. We have web publications. So all of that also. So my day, mornings are generally spent. I get into the office about 7 a.m. Between 7 and 9, we're focused on getting out that day's news podcast and any publications that have to go out that day. By 9 o'clock, I'm hitting I've got the podcasts done, the publications done, and we start in, the schedule varies from day to day, depending on when I've got coaching sessions planned. So either I'm right into client meetings or I'm doing networking events. We run networking events as well as run them for other organizations. And then in the afternoon, it's basically working on the business, figuring out where we're going to focus our lead gen, doing ongoing marketing, things like that. And generally, again, the days pretty much run along that with the exception of Friday. Friday, I actually block off from noon until 5 to just focus on what needs to be done prepping for the next week.
Oh, it's a busy man there. You got you got
Yeah.
your foot in every door. I like you're doing every job there is under the sun. It's amazing. How does that affect the way you guys do business? Are you kind of handling a lot of the lead gen and all sorts of stuff? Is that hindering you guys as to being spread too thin, or is that something that you found works for you?
It hasn't really hindered us much because of the processes that we put in.
Yeah.
Um, I use a lot of AI to assist me. The processes we have are very efficient, so it gets moving faster. But we are actually putting in new automated programs, new systems that we're rolling out over the next few months. So that's actually going to take a lot off of my plate in
Yeah.
2026.
Awesome. That's something AI is great for. You mentioned you're using some AI already. I'm curious, as someone who's in that space, what are you using?
I use a number of them. I use ChatGPT. I use Perplexity. I've used Claude on occasion. Depending on what information I'm looking for, Grok has been useful. So it really depends on what the the task is.
Mhm.
Like, I'll use Chat GPT to rewrite some articles for our content. I use a program called Mac Whisper that accesses several different AIs to do transcripts of our podcasting. If I'm looking, when I put together content for our news podcast, for what issues are of interest to the public, Grok, because they're based on X, has a great insight into what people are posting about.
Right.
So I'll use Grok for that. So which one I use actually depends on what the task is.
Awesome. And in terms of automations, what kind of like automations have you used AI for?
We're using AI to help with marketing
Okay.
automations. We've just started using it in lead funnels. So it that bit of a learning curve there, but that's so far been very good for us. Um, and a lot of it, we actually use AI to bounce ideas around.
Right.
Before we'll have a conference call or, to discuss what we're going to do the next week or what plans are coming up.
Yeah.
We'll bounce things, see what the AI comes up with and factor that into our decisions. And also, we're using AI. We've been optimizing our external websites to be better found by AI because actually Google is losing market share to Chat GPT now.
Right. Right. That's such a huge. We were gonna. I was gonna ask you directly how AI was affecting your business. We're kind of already covering it here. That's a huge thing that's AI has done for the industry. It's almost, yeah, like you said, replacing Google. Instead of going to Google and searching up, say, hey, what to go find some articles to do research about what you need to do. You can just ask ChatGPT or Grok and say, hey, pull up these articles for me on such and such thing, and then help you do some deep market research, all that sort of stuff. It's amazing. And I'm curious, how are these lead funnels kind of performing for your business? How are you seeing, how is AI delivering you results?
I can't really comment on that yet.
Yeah,
We only started implementing it about 2.5 weeks ago,
okay,
so it's a little early to
right,
really judge.
right. That's amazing. Well, it's such a great tool. I use it for my own business as well to for lead funnels and all that sort of stuff, and it works so well. It takes time off my plate of having to go and type out a bunch of different messages and emails and all that sort of stuff, and it just automates it and does it for me. And it's such a great tool. I hope you see some good success there. Well, now that we kind of covered all of those things, what's working well for you guys right now? What's kind of been frustrating?
Um, well, we'll start with the frustration. The big frustration that we're having right now is, especially over the last 6 months, the economic uncertainty has got a lot of businesses holding back before they pull the trigger. We've
Hmm.
actually got a lot of programs that we've got the clients, they've committed, but they're holding off pulling the trigger probably until January because some of them are manufacturers. They don't know what the tariffs are going to do. The
Right,
trade war is affecting them. Small businesses, the government shutdown is affecting some of them. So the economic uncertainty has been a hindrance to us over the last 6 months or so. I find that particularly frustrating because I always tell clients, the fact that things are uncertain is the norm. Unless you've got this magic crystal
right,
ball that tells you what's going to happen, there's always uncertainty. That's why you're coming to us so that we can help you deal with that.
right. That's
As for what's been working well, um, honestly, our traditional networking has been doing fantastically. We get most of our business through client referrals, through networking, and that's actually been picking up because when we do a presentation at an event, when personally I do a lot of public speaking, when I do an event like that, I'll usually leave the room with 3 or 4 new leads that have come up to me saying, I have to talk to you more. I think my company needs what you were just talking about.
right. That's, yeah, it's amazing. Still, I know in our sponsor message there, we show that those are kind of dying out, which was you are seeing more and more companies start to switch over to online and or AI lead gen methods rather than the in-person marketing. But for people that have it down like you, it is something that's great. I mean, if you can build those personal connections and those in-person connections with the people, you can see some real results. I agree. It's amazing that you guys have that going for you, unlike a lot of people.
Well, I think the main reason that networking fails so many people is
Yeah.
because they don't know how to do it. They show up at a networking event, they pass out cards, they grab cards, and they think that's lead gen.
Hmm.
When I'm doing a networking event, generally I'm either running the event or I'm a featured speaker. So I'm actually providing content to the folks there. So
Yeah.
they're really learning about my business. And I never do a sales pitch when I
Mhm.
do these, it's always informational. So I'm showing them how the services can be used or how they need different techniques. Like I do a lot on time management, we do a lot on basic goal setting. You'd be amazed how many people don't set real goals. um, so when I talk about what they can be doing and they realize, yeah, this is great, but I need a little more help than a 15-minute talk.
Right.
So that's where our clients come from.
Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. You're providing them some value up front and hoping that they, bring some in return. And I like that you're doing that almost it's educational, it's rather than
Yes.
here buy my stuff, you're providing them almost a service and that value up front and showing them what you guys do. It's like an inbound service rather than outbound lead gen. I like that. Yes. Maybe I should start going to some more trade shows and networking events. That sounds awesome. Well, now that you kind of covered it a little bit and setting goals as well. So, what are your guys' goals for the next 6 to 12 months? What are you guys looking to achieve and get out of the business in terms of growth?
Well, we're actually working right now to roll out a more automated platform for our clients.
Yeah,
So this is going to include on-demand coaching sessions that are pre-recorded, discussion boards where they can actually talk among themselves and share their
yeah,
experiences, chat rooms, what we're calling office hours, where they can actually talk to one of our coaches or consultants. And this is the big push for next year because um, what we're seeing is this platform is actually going to be able to reach so many more people, on average, from just a time constraint issue
yeah.
where we deal with one client now, putting them on the platform will be able to handle about 50 clients in that same time.
Right,
And also, because our focus is small business, this is actually going to lower the cost of entry for those small businesses. So they'll be able to get Fortune 500 level services that'll fit their budgets.
right. I like it. It's like a small business university. It's amazing. You got everything. You've got like coursework and videos to watch, and you've got
Yeah.
the chat rooms and the office hours of the professors. That's awesome. What are you guys doing currently to put that into place? What are your steps that you're making towards those goals?
Well, right now we're actually putting together the content.
Okay.
That's our focus for the next probably 6 weeks. We should have it wrapped up by then. We've also started promoting the platform in advance to build up anticipation for it, and we're doing a lot of reaching out to small businesses. Some through networking events, a lot through social media to
Hmm.
get the word out that this is the new wave in coaching because you can do this on your schedule, not ours.
Right.
Again, it lowers the cost of entry and the value is there.
Yeah, as being someone that's a small business owner, that they don't have that much time because they're the CEO, they're the CFO, they're the head of marketing, they're the head of sales. They don't have the time to go and spend hours and hours a day on conference calls and training calls. Now you give them the opportunity to do on their own time, maybe at 9 o'clock at night when they've left the office, they can go home and they can watch your content, hop on your office
Right.
hours. I think that's a great thing you guys are doing. And are you guys using AI at all to do that as well, or what's kind of the plan there?
AI is actually built into the platform we're
Okay, awesome.
using. So We'll have AI guides for people that need it, so that if they need help with the program, they'll have
Yeah.
AI. We are training AI coaches right now to answer basic questions, so that if, 12 o'clock at night, they suddenly have a question, we don't have a live coach available at midnight, but
Right.
they can go on and the AI can at least give them enough information, to get them to the morning, and they'll be able to actually use it to schedule a live call if they need.
Right. I think that's amazing. It's something that definitely differentiates the good businesses or I shouldn't say good and bad, the effective businesses to the less effective businesses is you go on, let's say you go on the Adidas website and you can go and look up, you have a question about their product, you can use their chat bot and go and look something up and it'll answer your question right away. Or you'll go on to a lower, less revenue company and you'll see they don't have a chat bot and you can't get that question answered right away. It's so valuable and so helpful to your clients, your customers, whoever it may be, to have that live 24/7 chat bot that can answer your questions when a person might not be available. I think even from a consumer standpoint, that's something that is fantastic for business to have. And I feel like all businesses should have some form of that.
Yeah, it really does help. I mean, especially when you're talking about a customer, we're primarily B2B.
Right.
So when our clients have a concern, in many cases, especially for small business owners, this is keeping them up at night.
Yeah.
So if they're, worried about this at midnight at 1 a.m., and they can actually go on, discuss it with the chat bot, and, you know, we'll get the transcript so that we can put it into their next live session so we can bring it up and follow up with it. At least this is going to help them get to sleep that night.
Right, right. Yeah, it's so amazing. Yeah, I've definitely had a couple of nights where you're staying up and you're thinking, man, how can I fix this problem that I'm having? How can I deliver these results? And yeah, it's amazing. I wish I had someone to consult me at all times of the day. That'd be awesome. Well, listen, we've almost wrapped everything up. We've covered so much today. I think you've shared some amazing things about how you guys do business and what works well for you guys and how you're continuing to improve every day. And I like to leave all the guests the opportunity to share something they've learned. So, what's the biggest lesson you learned along your journey as a business owner, entrepreneur, and a consultant that has helped you be where you are?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is ownership.
Ownership.
And I don't mean literal ownership of the company. I'm talking about ownership of tasks, accountability. You know, every member of my team, when we are working on a project, we have the attitude that the entire project relies on what each one of us is doing. We take that ownership. We train our clients in that ownership, because it's so easy to say, well, this could have gone better if XYZ had happened. Well, why didn't XYZ happen? And why didn't you anticipate it and take steps to make it happen? So that ownership really is a major factor in success. It's also a major factor in motivation. When you believe you've got the power to make things change, to actually get things done, that can fuel you through all of the obstacles and all of the naysayers. And there's always going to be naysayers. So, take ownership of what you're doing and understand that you can do more than you think you can. In fact, I have a new book that's about to come out next week, actually called Yes, You Can. And it's all about our coaching system and how you can move forward taking ownership.
Yeah, I like that so much. You're investing in yourself is what you're doing. I think a lot of
Yep.
people that start businesses, or even if they're not a business owner, even if they work 9 to 5, they're working with another company, they put these limiting beliefs on themselves that they can't do certain things, that maybe I'm not a good salesperson or I'm not good at marketing. Well, who's to say you're not a good salesperson, you're not a good marketer, you can't run a business, you can't drive profit and revenue. That's those limiting beliefs you're putting on yourself. If you release yourself of
Right.
those, there's so many things you can accomplish and get done. The human mind is an amazing thing. It's malleable and it can change and it can improve and update. It's something that yeah, I agree. A lot of people doubt themselves and they shouldn't.
Exactly. When you've got the motivation to do something,
Yeah.
then, instead of saying, I can't do that, you say, how can I do that?
Mm,
There is a plethora of free resources online that you can use to learn the skills you need to implement. So if there's something you
yeah.
don't know, if you say, I'm not good at sales, guess what? There are tons of sales programs out there where you can learn how to do it better.
Right.
And, not every program is for every person. You have to find what fits your temperament and, what you're doing. But there's no reason for you not to take the bull by the horns and actually learn more and keep learning.
Right. And take action. I think that's one of the big things as well is people can they can keep learning, they can grow their knowledge and their skills in these certain areas, but then they'll never take action as well. I think that's the next step as well. I agree. It's
Yep.
amazing that you can go out and learn almost anything you want for free. People say they graduated from YouTube University and they found all this
Right.
free content to help them be a business owner or whatever it may be. Maybe they learned how to play golf on YouTube or they learned how to play baseball, tennis, whatever it may be. And they got all that information for free and they bettered themselves. But then there's that next step that people have to take is to take action and take that leap of
Yes.
faith to do what they need to do. And it's one of the most freeing things you can do. It might be scary, but it's going to lead to something amazing, like you said, that with that motivation to be successful.
Yeah. If you've got that motivation, the action comes naturally.
Right.
There's a saying, it's ready, fire, aim. It's like you take the action and then you fix it if need be. But
Yeah.
a lot of what we do is actually based on agile software development, where you put out a minimally viable product, get feedback from the clients, make improvements. We've been doing this for 16 years. We Nothing that we offer over the past 16 years is exactly the same as when we launched it. It's
Right.
always evolving, it's always improving. And as long as you're taking those actions to do that, the people will follow.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's amazing. Yeah, you've got to. I like to say you fake it till you make it, or you're failing upwards. You're not gonna be right the first time. You got to make some mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes, that's awesome. That's like a 1% chance. Good job. But
Right.
you're gonna make some mistakes. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. Ready, fire, aim. I like that. But yeah, that's so true. You're just gonna get started, and you're gonna figure it out as you go. It's okay if you don't have it all ready to go before you start. It's awesome. Well, listen,
Yeah, you don't have to have it all. You don't have to
yeah,
get everything right. And I always use Google as an example. Look, in terms of revenue, they're huge, but
mhm,
they failed far more often than they've succeeded.
right, right. Yeah, it's probably a lot more businesses than we know. I mean, I always like to use Amazon as an example as well. They didn't get it right the first time. They were a book company and now they are an everything company. They even sell cars now.
Right.
They didn't get it right the first time, but look at them now. They do billions and billions and billions of I'm not sure if they even maybe do trillions. They do lots and lots of money every year and they didn't get it right the first time. That's awesome. Well, listen, Eric, it was amazing having you on the podcast, and someday, who knows, maybe I'll be on one of yours. But it was amazing
Yes.
having you, and you've shared some valuable information and some great advice, and I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me. It's been great being here.
Thanks, Eric. Take care.